Hello, everyone. Welcome to our regular Legacy casting. Joining me today is Jonathan Williams.
Hello there.
And we're looking at Ben playing Bug versus Nick playing Sneak and Show. Nick, quite fond of this deck because it's pretty easy to grind out some free wins. They're just de-sideboarding from the previous events that they played because this is a second round. But Bug and Sneak and Show are very common decks in Legacy, should be known by pretty much everyone.
Yeah, Bug focusing more on straight card advantage, and Sneak and Show casting Show and Tell or Sneak Attack and winning with Emrakul and Griselbrand.
Yeah, I believe Nick is running quite a few Emrakuls. I think I saw at least 2 when I was watching his matchup earlier. And Bug's obviously quite a staple list. There's some Tarmogoyfs, there's some Delvers in there.
The only Bug in the list.
Yeah. Well, it becomes a Bug after some frivolous research.
Yeah. Gotta find instants and sorceries. And that looks like a tropical island.
Yeah, and I think I see a Daze there, perhaps, and a Deathrite Shaman, and I think I can see a Verdant Catacombs peeking out, which is, not a bad start, but maybe not enough.
Maybe he didn't have gas. We couldn't really see his hand from here.
So, I can't really see what's in Nick's hand, because looks like he's prepared for it. Oh,
it looks like he's keeping as well.
Do you want to lean it forward there, Nick? No? Yeah, so it looks like Nick's keeping, so there's probably... there's
a Flooded Strand.
Yep. We're probably going to see a Show and Tell or a Sneak Attack in his hand as well, and possibly an Emrakul. Oh, there we go, that's a bit nicer, but not nice enough.
A Delver, a Liliana, a Tarmogoyf, and a Mulligan.
Alright, sure. I think I saw a Wasteland, so I can kind of see why he wouldn't want to keep that one.
Especially when it's so colour heavy and all the different colours.
Yeah. It's pretty hard when you're starting on 5 cards against something like Sneak and Show, which is running quite a lot of drawing effects. Because it
filters to get to the counter spell and the win, so that it has plenty of backup. A lot of the time against... you kept it. Yep. It looks like it has a Daze and lands.
So it's a plain island, and I think I saw a Wasteland and a Flooded Strand, which he's going to crack straight away.
And a Delver.
Yep. Seems like a solid card. We'll see.
Probably getting out Tropical or an Underground Sea, I'm going to say. Underground Sea.
Yeah.
And there's the Flooded Strand from Nick's side, both signed by Rob Alexander, by the looks of it. Nick is
known to have some very fancy cards.
Yeah.
I
would not be surprised if it's foil, though I can't tell from here.
I don't think Flooded Strands come in foil.
Yeah, they do. They come in set foil and judge foil.
Okay, quite possibly.
So there's a Lotus Petal in hand as well, and a Show and Tell as well. So he's got quite a few pieces ready to go. It's just whether he has the counter magic or the actual creatures to win.
Yeah. So Nick is very fond of pimping out his decks.
There's most definitely a Daze, though.
Yeah. On Ben's side?
Yeah, on Ben's side, and a Brainstorm.
A Brainstorm as well, quite nice art.
So he may Brainstorm in upkeep to guarantee the flip of the Delver.
Okay. So it looks like Nick has a Sneak Attack in there as well.
Yeah.
Even though he just drew a Show and Tell. So since he Brainstormed in his turn, I'm expecting...
You can always Show and Tell the Sneak Attack as well if you want to go for the longer win, which is more consistent typically, because decks like Bug can't deal with Sneak Attack, especially because it's 4 mana, it doesn't die to Abrupt Decay, and they don't pack any mainboard hate for it.
Yeah, most definitely. And Emrakul obviously swings straight away, even though you don't get your extra turn by casting it.
So it's
still got an Annihilator 6, which is pretty gross.
And Nick is taking a while to figure out his brainstorm.
Yeah, I think it's just it looks like there was a bit of chatter between the two.
As well,
Maybe.
he's cracking.
Yeah, so probably just filtering out that show and tell, because he's obviously got the sneak attack as well and the Lotus Petal.
Yeah.
So it looks like he'll power that out next turn.
Next, yeah. And
Interestingly,
searching for
not
basics. Well, the only dual lands that Show and Tell typically runs are Volcanic Islands.
Yeah.
And you don't want to
fair.
get wastelanded, because you can just straight up lose this matchup if you run out of lands.
Yeah, most definitely. So I would expect he's running.
And he's got City of Traders there, so he has
Yep.
He has the potential to Lotus Petal out, Sneak Attack, and go. Oh, he's got the Spell Pierce.
Very nice. So obviously just spell
Dazing
piercing
that.
that sets Ben back quite a lot, since sure, he's got the Delver, and it's
That
it's
looks like-
definitely going to flip. So there's 2 Abrupt Decays there.
Which doesn't do much here, because
No, unfortunately, because
Nothing that he'll play will be-
he's off mana.
yeah, less than
Is that
3.
a Rites of Replication?
I don't think so.
I should hope not.
That would be quite upsetting.
It's some very, very strange art there. So I think
It's a ponder. There's a ponder there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I guess that they do
very-
look kind of similar. They have a dude in the middle.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not quite sure why Ben just showed off that. Obviously for
Yeah,
the Delver.
for the
Flip,
Delphi.
sorry. Yeah.
Yep. And Nick's going
so
for the
he's
Ponder.
Got the Verdant Catacombs, and yeah, Nick's probably gonna rush out.
Well, Ben doesn't. Nick doesn't know this, but Ben doesn't actually have any counter magic in hand. So if Nick went for it now, there'd be nothing to stop him, and from there, playing a sneak attack is just effectively a free win.
Right. He is off that red though, so he can't.
A Lotus Petal.
Yeah, but he can't power out any creatures.
He's got this. Yeah, he can't play any creatures, and it doesn't actually look like he has any creatures in hand.
He does just got it. Excuse me. He did just rip a Misty.
So he may play
alongside
that,
City of
preparing for the
Traders.
preparing for the.
Yeah,
win.
just sort of going for the late game.
But you can't just you can't just run out the sneak attack if you don't actually know they have no counter magic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, does he have anything in hand?
It doesn't look like it.
I can't quite tell what that card is. It might be a Force of Will, but with no blue cards to back it up, it's obviously a lot less effective. He's got a. Excuse me. Yeah, so he does have a Force of Will there, but he's also got a Volcanic Island in hand. At least one
Okay,
of.
so he definitely has the mana, and he still has the sneak attack in hand by the looks of it.
Yeah.
So he definitely, all he needs at this point is to draw a creature, and probably a blue spell as well to back up with his Force of Will, and he'll most likely go for it.
Yeah, and
Ben's cracking his Verdant for probably
probably a Bay.
no, Tropical.
Or yeah, Trop's fine.
'Cause
That
now
gives
he
him
can-
access to both colours.
Yeah, he can now play his Abrupt Decays. I'm not sure if he's running Hymn to Turak. Some bug lists do.
No, he's not.
He's not. Okay.
As quoted by him, he prefers Thoughtseize over Hymn to Turak.
Okay. It is a preference thing. Hymn to Turak can just win you the game outright, but Thoughtseize is a lot better against combo. Hymn to Turak a lot better against control. Typically.
Yeah, but
So he just pondered again, and all he has is Brainstorm and lands. So he drew the Brainstorm.
see, the Abrupt Decays are pretty dead in a matchup like this.
Ponder is not a creature. That should not be there.
Yeah, so that looks like a bit of a GRB, but this is
This isn't comp. It's,
regular rules enforcement,
yeah.
so we're not particularly worried about
Oh,
that.
he has he has a Show and Tell, a Sneak Attack, and a Force of Will, and City of Traders in hand, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so yeah.
So he's probably just going to play the Sneak Attack
Yep.
so that he can leave Force on backup. And at the moment, Ben has nothing to stop that. The Abrupt Decays are useless in his hand at the moment. He's basically only got 3 cards in hand, or 2 cards in hand, sorry, and one of them is a Wasteland, which is, I guess, stopping that Volcanic Island, but he has an additional red and he only needs 1.
Yeah.
So you almost want to just use it as a land at this point.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why Nick didn't use that Lotus Petal as as his red source.
Just in case, because he can wasteland the
Yeah, I suppose that's slightly
the
better.
volcanics away both volcanics away potentially.
Yeah.
And abrupt decaying there's the Force of Will a turn too late. He could abrupt decay a Lotus Petal in theory, but that's 2 mana that he doesn't really have at this point.
Absolutely.
He can't double. Well, he can only wasteland one thing, and then he can't abrupt decay. So at this point, his outs are looking quite thin. Don't actually know his Nick's life total though. It's probably sitting around 9.
I think he's definitely taken a couple beats from that
Insect Aberration,
and he's cracked only 2 fetches. So that beat there probably puts him down to 9.
potentially, yeah.
Looks like probably 3 swings since he brainstormed.
So now, literally all Nick has to do is top deck Grizzlebrand or Emrakul, and he's probably got this game sealed. However, he top decked that Misty Rainforest, which isn't going to do it for him. So Ben could actually just win by playing mono Insect Aberration here.
Yeah, but
so we're looking at 2 Abrupt Decays and a Force of Will in hand.
Yeah, just like to note that Misty also prevents Ben from playing his second Wasteland, which we saw earlier off the
Yeah, he could still Wasteland the one Volcanic, but it's not.
Yeah, so we're looking at an Abrupt Decay on
that Lotus Petal, just to keep him off an additional red potentially, just in case.
Bit of discussion there. Nick not quite sure why, but
well, potentially.
Obviously, he probably does.
If he plays Grizzlebrand, he could draw into an Emrakul and play it with the additional red. Though if he doesn't top, if he top decks Emrakul, it's not really relevant. See, now he can.
Yeah, see,
he can only play 1 creature off his thing. I guess if he Grizzlebrands, he could draw an additional red. But
So,
I don't think he has much life. I don't think he can Grizzlebrand very effectively. He may just win by not drawing any creatures, which is quite upsetting because he's had pretty much the win. Yep, and there it is. He scoops it up.
That's game 1. But no discredit to Nick. Sneak and Show is a very dangerous deck, and we could absolutely see him just be blown out in the next game.
It was quite unfortunate because Ben didn't actually really do anything that game other than play a Delver and daze a Spell Pierce of his own Brainstorm.
Yeah.
He wastelanded a few lands but didn't stop anything, so it was a bit lucky on that part, but that's sort of how Magic goes. He's siding in Dark Confidants for that extra bit of card advantage against a deck that's all about
and I'd say
bringing up a combo.
I would probably be bringing in those Surgical Extractions because it's a 2 mana. It's a 1 mana.
Oh, it's free. It's 2 life.
It's 2 life. But what we do get to do is once Nick has to discard that Emrakul, you can always respond with Surgical Extraction.
Yeah, to get them all out of the deck. And he's siding out Liliana of the Veil, which I find interesting, because if Nick goes the Show and Tell route, Grizzlebrand can't attack straight away.
True, but
so he can sacrifice Liliana of the Veil can sacrifice it.
It's probably a little bit more unlikely Nick going down the Show and Tell route and getting it
out
that
of
way.
The sideboard.
But he's probably running more than 1 Liliana. Or
how many
did he take out?
I wasn't. So he's still got at least 1 left in there. Yeah. So, or did he just side it out?
No, he ditched a counterspell. So there's at least 2 Lilianas in there still.
Yeah.
Which means it should be dropping his curve and pitching those dazes.
Siding out dazes for Dark Confidants.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, dazes is very much a spell, which is
in this matchup, your life total isn't too critical, and getting those extra cards is worth it for the ability to effectively counter more spells and keep in control of the game, especially when your route is by dealing small combat damage, and theirs is by dealing lots of combat damage in one go.
In one big swing, which is why it's called Sneak and Show.
Yeah.
Bugs are very
looks like he sighted out his Lotus Petals, Nick. And Through the Breach. Through the Breaches may have been in the sideboard already, but he sighted out Gitaxian Probes as well, by the looks of it.
I'm just going to look up Through the Breach. What does it do?
It's sneak attack on a instant sorcery that has Arcane and the ability to splice onto Arcane. Yep, splice onto Arcane as well.
Okay, so do we know if Nick's running any Arcane spells that might be...
No, it's just purely as an alternate way to sneak attack.
Yeah.
So if they specifically, I don't know, Meddling Mage, your Show and Tell as a Meddling Mage, your Show to
sneak attacks, you've got the
you still have an extra way to do it.
Yeah. That's at 5 cost, though, which is not something you really want to do in...
Well, a lot of the
Legacy.
times at this point you've burnt all their counter spells because sneak attack doesn't have to be. The great thing about Sneak and Show is it can win like turn 1 or 2, or it can play the long game and draw it out and effectively just play a sneak attack into nothing and proceed to win.
Absolutely, and it looks like both players are keeping. Nick with a lot more gas this time. He does have an Emrakul in hand.
Brainstorm and a Force of Will?
Yep, he's also got a Spell Pierce as well.
Okay, that's a good hand for him.
So, if I was Nick, I probably would have Brainstormed at the end of turn, just to check out my next couple of draws.
Well, now he's got the fetch land, so he can put things...
He's also got a Ponder as well.
He's got a Ponder as well.
I'd probably expect the Ponder now to take a look.
Well, the Ponder has an inbuilt shuffle effect, so it's whether he needs the shuffle away to whether he plays the Brainstorm or the Ponder.
Yep, that's fair.
Because he's got a fetch land in play, so there's nothing wrong with Brainstorming here. He's effectively drawing 3 cards for free.
Yeah,
and putting away 2. But
he'll use the Ponder.
And maybe he's doing it to bait out some counter magic. Because a lot of the time with Sneak and Show, once they've built up their hand and they go for the combo, they have the counter magic to back it up.
Yeah,
so a lot of the time countering these early spells when they're trying to assemble is a lot more potent than waiting the entire time. Sure, you're probably going to attempt to force it with a sneak attack or a Show and Tell.
But if they never draw it, then you never have to force it.
Yeah. So especially in this matchup where...
There's nothing wrong with that. So we're looking at...
he's stifling the fetch land and dazing the Ponder.
Wow, okay.
To stop Nick from countering it back, which is a very potent play. So now Nick's stuck on 1 land with...
Nick could probably Force of Will that Stifle, and then...
so retaining priority, retaining priority and Stifle.
Yeah,
so now he's Force of Will.
We're going to see Nick Force of Will this.
Because he can't afford to lose those land drops there. But he's going to lose his Ponder, by the looks of it.
Well, no, he can probably just pay for the extra one, unless he's going to keep the Brainstorm.
Oh yeah, well of course Daze is only pay 1. It's not actually a full counter spell.
Really good.
Yeah, well, it's very good in a tempo play, however... in this situation...
If you're not on the play, I don't really like Daze as a card unless... Because obviously once you get a lot further ahead...
in this situation...
1 mana is not a lot.
To prevent the effect of the Daze, he had to burn 1, 2, 3, 4 cards.
2 cards. The Force of Will and the Spell Pierce.
Well, when he cracked the fetch, it got stifled.
Right, but that was the only point where he had to burn the 2 cards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate that he didn't get his Ponder off, but...
sacrifices have to be made.
Yeah, he's got the Brainstorm as well, and Ben dazing that has really sort of put him behind on...
he now can't... He now can't play that Goyf in hand, and he's further away from that Lily than before.
Yeah, so...
Going for the Spell Pierce, it's just gonna let that die.
So I think Nick still has another...
Ancient Tomb, not playing the Show and Tell, which means that it tells Ben that he probably doesn't have it.
Yeah, I think he's got
He's got Force of Will.
also Volcanic.
And
Ben's going to Wasteland the Ancient Tomb.
which is
Pass
correct.
back. Because he looks like he doesn't have... Oh no, he's got a Trop, so... Those graveyards are pretty full. I'm not sure quite why he hasn't...
To stop him from being able to just power out a sneak attack or show and tell through Spell Pierce. Because if he played a land next turn, he could avoid Spell Pierce.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, here we'll probably see that Tarmogoyf coming down.
Yeah, nice and big. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, yeah. Instant sorcery land.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Pongo is a sorcery.
Very nice. So I think Nick has a Grizzlebrand in hand.
Which means all his... there's a sneak
attack. Yeah, so there's definitely a Grizzlebrand in hand. He's got a Force of Will and Sunblue card. Which means if he can draw a land this turn and play it...
Ben kindly showing us his hand.
Yeah, so we can see that there's a sneak attack and 2 fetch lands.
So he probably is going to draw the land.
I don't really like that play from Nick.
It keeps the sneak attack out of Thoughtseize because he doesn't have to fetch this turn.
Yeah, I agree with that, but that's probably a safer bet since he's already used one Wasteland. The reason I don't like it is because if he didn't draw that and he got he could Wasteland that fetch.
Yeah, that's true. But he's still got another land on top after that as well. So
yeah, that's true. So I mean,
he's setting up for redundancy. So at this point, you're just playing the sneak attack, and hoping that. Well, he does have a Force of Will in hand, but I don't think he has a second blue spell.
He does.
Does he?
He's got a second blue spell, like hiding behind the Force of Will, so he's prepared to cast it. Yeah.
Can't see what it is, but I'm sure we'll find out in a second if there's any...
He's going to power out that sneak attack.
Yep, and that resolves, which is bad for Ben, though if these Delvers flip, it could be bad for Nick as well. No.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like those Delvers are flipping.
No.
But there's... Wow, that's 3 Delvers.
Not doing much as 1/1s. That's 5 damage.
Yeah.
I believe Nick can still, in fact... Grizzlebrand for 7 life.
I'm pretty sure there's an Emrakul in there as well.
Is there?
Yeah, by the looks of things. So, yeah, we're probably going to see sneak attack into...
Grizzlebrand and
Emrakul.
Which I believe is just game.
I think that might be the blue card that I saw before. It's just very shiny.
Yeah. So it looks like we'll be going to game 3 here, because I don't think... He's just discarding Force of Will to this Liliana. If he plays, he decides to play Delver.
Just a Delver.
Because you don't actually know at this point if he has anything. And if he doesn't, you may as well just kill him next turn, because I believe that's probably lethal next turn. Trigger.
Yeah, so Nick...
checking for Stifle.
Very wisely.
Emrakul.
Bam, there's an Emrakul. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 permanents.
So he'll get to keep 1, but I'm pretty sure that's 22 damage, and that is probably game.
And we'll be going to game 2.
Game 3.
Sorry, game 3, yeah.
And yep, game 3. So that's how Sneak and Show is supposed to work.
The game plan of Sneak and Show.
Yeah.
Ben just sacrificing some permanents there to improve his Goyf a bit.
Yeah, that Goyf, it went up. It was
a 4/5 by the end of it.
Sadly, could not block either of the creatures.
Yeah.
Was tapped also, that didn't help.
Yeah. So probably just the comical effect there.
Yeah.
But
a Delver can block a Grizzlebrand and an Emrakul if it is flipped.
If it is flipped, yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Which could have been relevant. So if the Delvers had flipped, he probably wouldn't have attacked with at least one of them. So that he could
if the Delvers
block.
Oh, sorry, yeah, on Ben's side. Yeah, I could see that happen.
Because if he didn't have the Emrakul, he can just block the Grizzlebrand. Sure, absolutely. Nick gets to draw 7 cards.
He still had the 6 permanents, so even if he powered out a Lily, one of them would survive.
Yeah, but then you'd be left with the Delver that's only blocking.
Right, but I mean,
Yeah.
you'd block the Emrakul.
Yeah.
Does it have trample? It's just a big
No,
big
I
old
don't bel-
15.
I don't- I don't-
Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
not that powerful.
It
Uh,
may have trample. I wouldn't put it past it, but I don't believe
Yeah.
it is. I believe it is
It's
just
just
a
the Annihilator.
15-15 flyer.
Yeah, which is
It sort of
nothing-
has trample.
Nothing to be laughed at. It's really powerful, guys. Oh wow! So Nick's starting with quite a lot of land, a brainstorm, and a sneak
Emrakul
attack.
and a
And the
Show
Emrakul.
Tell. So he doesn't have
Yeah.
any counter magic to back it up, but he has both roots. So at this point, I think Nick is keeping.
Yeah,
'cause he's-
I would be keeping it if I was Nick. He's got some nice.
Oh,
draw.
there's a Deathrite Shaman. Do
Right,
love me.
so Deathrite Shaman is pretty good for Ben in this, in that it can eat that Emrakul, just to make sure Nick doesn't get it back.
That's if he discards it, but I don't see any reason to discard it at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, if Ben can build up enough board presence
Yeah,
before the first one comes out, he might be able to just eat one of them once it's gone.
If Ben's
it'll
got
hurt him.
a Thoughtseize and a land, there's a
Yeah.
Liliana which he can power up this turn, which against a deck that's all about building card advantage is quite powerful. But he's going for the
So-
Thoughtseize instead.
Yep, there's the Thoughtseize. I probably would have played a land first. But gonna
don't know
see,
what
I
art
think
that
that's
is.
intuition.
I don't think so for 1 mana. It's
Oh,
probably a Force Spike.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Force Spike? Yeah, that's a 1 mana counter spell.
Yeah, it's effectively a daze.
So what if Nick had the Brainstorm, one thing you would do is Brainstorm and put away the Show and Tell, the Sneak Attack, and one of the Emrakuls, so that it meant that it...
Whoa, yeah, so
Nothing
Nick
happens.
has 2 Emrakuls there.
Actually, you put away both Emrakuls so they don't shuffle away.
Yeah, Nick has the 2 Emrakuls, so that's obviously something you'd have to get rid of.
He did have the Brainstorm, so he clearly didn't care enough.
Yeah, so
'Cause next
yeah,
turn
Show and
he's
Tell
got-
is,
he had the
is
Show
the
and
choice
Tell.
because he's got the Ancient Tomb there.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty powerful hand from Nick.
Yeah.
And if Ben can,
Well, Ben has a Wasteland in hand, so if he doesn't represent it this turn, Nick will probably be forced to play the Ancient Tomb, and he'll be able to shut him down quite a bit. So if he's better off playing that Verdant, which is what it looks like he's going to do.
yeah.
I'm not sure if he has a 1-drop in hand. Is that another? It's another Deathrite Shaman. So
Yeah.
he's going for a
Pretty solid.
Deathrite aggro. It's very
Very-
powerful.
yeah, very
for,
good.
4 damage return for on your 1 mana Planeswalker is pretty good.
Yeah. It is the 1 mana Planeswalker for all intents and purposes.
Banned in Modern because 1 mana Planeswalkers are in fact broken. 2 mana ones apparently are very weak.
Yeah,
and
not so great. Tybalt, you suck. Get out. Never want to see you
collected among some,
Yeah.
hated by others. So Nick is brainstorming, probably looking for another land,
again. You know what?
a red land
If
probably.
Tybalt didn't have random anywhere on it, he would be
If
the
he-
most broken
if he
card
did-
ever.
If he didn't discard a card at
Ever.
random, he would be pretty good.
Yeah, if it wasn't random, he would be so well played, it's not even funny.
Because what's his neg ability do? It's damage equal to something, isn't it?
Yeah, something ridiculous.
I think it's damage equal to mountains or something.
Let's take a look at the old...
While Nick's resolving this brainstorm.
Yeah. Tybalt. Tybalt the Fiend-Blooded. Draw a card, then discard a card at random. So like we said, if random wasn't featured on this at all, it'd be fantastic. So that's his +1. His -4 is deals damage equal to the number of cards in target player's hand.
So that's pretty good. So Nick resolved this brainstorm.
Would be very nice in Jund.
Yeah, or something that can abuse the graveyard. So Nick found his other land, so he didn't have to play his Ancient Tomb into the Wasteland, which is good for him.
It's target player's hand, not graveyard.
No, as in like it can, if it was not discarded at random,
Oh,
it can be
yeah.
used with something that uses the graveyard. Probably pretty good with Dredge, because you would dredge up something and then discard it for just free card draw effectively.
Yeah, of course.
If it wasn't random.
Very good card. And
So Liliana of the Vale has made the field, and he has discarded an Emrakul, and it
Yep.
looks like he's going to try and exile it with Deathrite Shaman or Surgical Extraction if he sideboarded them in. He is paying 1 life to fetch. What will he be fetching? Probably
okay, so he is gonna
Bayou.
fetch. Yeah, Bayou seems like a good
Bayou
choice.
to exile the creature of the Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, I mean that's really good,
Mm.
and it's a solid play that he's
And not irrelevant, gains you 2 life.
picked up. Yeah,
Especially when the only out it looks. Oh no, he exiled the show and tell. Ah, okay. So that he can't. So that's 1 less show and tell Nick has.
yeah. I mean, I guess that's an option, but if you take out
Well,
the
you already
creatures-
know he has another Emrakul in hand anyway.
Sure, but
So if he drawing a second Emrakul at this point when he
Yeah,
has no
okay.
red mana is sort of irrelevant
yep. All right, good choice then from
because
Ben.
now he can't
It
just.
deals 2 damage. So we're looking at Ponder there. Yes.
Yeah. This Liliana of the Vale is going to hurt Nick quite a bit, especially if he can't find a red source to power out that sneak attack. See, this is somewhere where I actually do prefer him to tour out, because it can just, effectively, you're stripping 3 cards a turn, and it's just
Absolutely.
getting great value off it.
Whoops, so there it is. And
Pyroclasm, getting rid of those pesky Deathrite
a
Shamans.
sneaky Pyroclasm. So Nick was obviously, has been playing Legacy and Vintage for quite some time.
Yeah.
Not.
And there is a Tarmogoyf. He is a 4?
a big guy.
4/5.
Instant sorcery. And no, sorry, because we had the shuffle effect. So just sorceries.
Creature, land. There is an
Creature,
instant
land,
and
instant
a
sorcery.
sorcerer.
So it's a 4/5.
4/5.
Yep. Nothing to be scoffed at. I mean, I don't like to be hit by 4 damage a turn, and Nick taking some of that 1 mana planeswalker damage as well.
Nick is trying to do some. He is discarding to Liliana because Ben has no cards in hand, and this is when Liliana truly reaches.
Yeah.
A
So
power
does
when-
Ben have that? Sorry, does Nick have that sneak and show?
He has a sneak
Sneak
attack
attack,
still in
sorry.
hand,
Yeah.
so he has the mana for it. But I think. Oh, he's only got 3 cards in hand, so he has a choice between discarding the Emrakul, the land, or the sneak attack. So really, none are a good option here.
Yeah. My choice is probably the Emrakul here, just so you can get that shuffle effect, and you can power out your stuff next turn.
Yeah, because if he discards the Emrakul here, he can still play the sneak attack.
Yeah, and it'll stick around on board, so he can.
Yeah,
can untap
you
and-
discard the Emrakul. So now he can play his hand, and this Liliana gets a lot worse. But however, next turn she ticks to 6, and if Nick can't find something within 2 turns, it's probably going to be a sneak attack or your lands.
Yeah,
And looks like someone
I'm
has
looking
knocked the camera.
at Nick here, whose bag is sort of
Oh,
pulling
oh.
that camera away. Hi Ben.
How you doing?
So
We are about to see the match on the other table.
Yeah.
And there's
Bringing it
a
back
pesky finger.
slowly there.
This is our action portion
Wow.
of the
Yeah, so
event.
Nick's bag just upsetting everything there, and unfortunately it looks
There we go.
Our
And
cameraman's done
he
a
has
good job of
he
fixing
has
that.
played the sneak attack
So the
and
sneak
has
attack's in
1
play,
card in
and
hand.
I think that's a brainstorm. So
that's
pretty good. He can set him. Yeah, so he's going to brainstorm in response.
So he can, if he has an Emrakul, if he's willing to show us, or a Grizzleband at this point is fine, because he can kill
Yep.
that Liliana and
Yeah,
just get
most
straight back
definitely.
into the game by drawing
And,
another 7 cards.
Yeah, Grizzlebrand is a fantastic card, which a lot of people
And he is
neglected.
discarding show and tell, because at this point it is largely irrelevant.
Yep. So he's pointing out that he took some damage.
Nick is on a single life total by the looks of that pad.
I don't think it's going to matter.
Another brainstorm.
So we're looking at.
Well,
Do we get to see anything interesting here?
it sort of does matter because it means it's a lot riskier, or he is unable to Grizzlebrand before combat, which means he can't kill him in 1 turn.
True.
That's if he draws Grizzlebrand.
So he drew something there, which
Yep,
is relevant.
and an
there's
Emrakul, which
is gonna
means it's all the permanents.
Drip all the permanents, and
Well, Bennett's not technically dead. It's going
no,
to be.
he is on 5 life. I mean, he could make his way back from this.
Yep.
Obviously...
Oh, and he top decks the land. That's critical. He needs those.
He does. I mean, if he can power out a...
Delver? A Delver,
a Delver
and
or a Deathrite Shaman.
Deathrite Shaman would probably be quite good. Gaining life.
Could, could sort of come back from this.
Yeah, because they're both in hardcore top deck mode. It just happens Nick's top decks are a lot better. Is that a price of progress?
No. No.
No.
Nick wouldn't be running something like that. It would hurt himself way too much. I believe it is target creature attack or something. The relevant effect is it draws you a card for a mana. It's...
there is a brainstorm off the top. Oh, it's a spell piss!
Okay.
So we've got a game.
Yeah, that's going to be harsh for Ben to deal with.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there's the Emrakul, ladies and gentlemen.
And...
obviously, he's...
he did activate the ability. So that is game.
That's Bug Aggro versus Sneak and Show, with Nick coming out the victor. It turns itself around very quickly.
Well, once you get down a sneak attack, every time you top deck, every one of your top decks is either a counter spell or drawing to another creature.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everything can be potent.
Okay, so we just saw Nick win with Sneak and Show there. Obviously a very, very powerful deck, as you're basically cheating in some of the best creatures in Magic.
One of the most powerful decks in Legacy at the moment. It's topped many SCG events and GPs all around the world.
Yeah.
Bug Aggro has fallen out as of late, but as Legacy rotates through its cycles, Control and Aggro will come back. At the moment, the field seems to be very combo heavy.
It was a good matchup, that Legacy event, and obviously there'll be different metas for wherever you play at. But there was a lot of cross field stuff in that Legacy event on Tuesday at Good Games Brisbane, where you should definitely go if you're interested in Legacy at all, even just to watch. I myself played Cloud Post at the event and went up against... I don't think I ever played the same deck twice. I went up against Death and Taxes, You White Miracles, Painter even. There's a lot of field to cover, and it's a good place to learn some various different deck archetypes.
Yeah, Brisbane has a very diverse Legacy metagame, partially because it's been inbred into the community quite well. So a lot of the people started off with Standard, and then this was a time before Modern even existed. So no one cared about Extended for ages. So they moved straight into Legacy, and that's led to somewhat massive Legacy field in Brisbane, which is a relatively small place for such a large Legacy field.
Yeah, no, but it's great to come along and play. And hopefully we'll be able to cover it and give you some more insight into the other types of decks that you might see across the field, and the other matches that will be happening at Brisbane. Please make sure to join us for the other matches that are on the channel this week and in the coming weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.